you starting or am I starting?
I don't know.
How'd you start a video? I forgot.
You know, like 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1.
I don't know, I'm laughing too much. So, action.
So we're back. I'm just sorting my Twitch out. So.
Oh, no countdown.
Oh. So we're back.
And we're here to stay.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to put my hands up, and I need you to put your hands up as well. We've been a bit shit.
Don't shoot.
We've been a bit shit. We're going to just admit from the offset.
It's his fault, not mine.
It's Bernie's fault mostly, but we don't need to go into that, okay? The fact of the matter is...
We're back.
We're back. Exactly. We're going to do a lot of content for you guys, and we've kind of fallen off track. But there's been many things going on in our lives that you may not know about. If you've been following us on Instagram or on X or on various other social platforms, we have actually been somewhat active.
Yeah.
But what we haven't really done yet is go full blast on YouTube. And we've dropped some videos here and there, but we're actually going to do it properly this time. Completely, full blown, a lot of things are coming your way. What we also want to do here is something we haven't yet done, which is going to be an introduction and a starting point and the foundation to everything moving forward. And that is putting faces to the brand and faces to voices you have probably seen in videos, which are just screen records or the occasional short form clip, but you may not actually even know who we are if you don't follow our personal social media profiles. So it goes without saying, I'm Torre.
And I'm Bernie on Instagram, BD_FX. And yeah, when we were planning to make these videos, we thought, how do we start? How do we introduce ourselves? And we wanted to do something completely different. And we thought, you know what? Not everybody on YouTube probably follows us on our social media. So we've never shown our face on YouTube. We never put our faces in front of the camera. And we've only done and built our following through our analysis videos. So we thought, well, actually, to prove a point to ourselves and to you guys, and also because of the type of content we plan to start bringing to you, let's jump in front of a camera, show our faces, introduce ourselves, and yeah, get started and tell you what we've got planned and the big plans we've got coming for innovation, the big plans we've got for our YouTube channel, and we also want to talk about the market today, about crypto, forex, things that we expect to happen in the market in the coming days, weeks and months, which is a very, very exciting time in both markets. I personally believe that this is going to be one of the wildest years in forex. We've already started to see that. I told members that in 2024, 2025 has now started to get a bit crazy. And since the turn of the year, crypto has as well.
Absolutely. And before Bernie shamelessly plugged his Instagram and left mine out, mine is @TorreK. And if you do follow me, you would probably know and probably tell from the background, we've just moved to Dubai. And this has actually been a contributing factor in why we've been a bit ad hoc with the videos as well. And we're actually...
That's a little bit of an excuse.
An excuse? It's not an excuse, but it is.
Yeah.
We're going to throw that out there. We're honest with you guys. And a lot of the content we will be doing is 100% honest at all times. And that's why we're filming this right now in my $10 million penthouse. It's always about the truth.
Your Airbnb, you mean?
Shut the fuck up.
Your Airbnb?
Shut the fuck up. So anyway, we're in my £10 million penthouse right now, and we decided this would be the best location to do the first video. And we want to bring more than just screen records of charts and analysis.
Even though that's great, and it will still be present, we're going to start doing that consistently, week on week. But we want to bring so much more to the table. And we believe by actually getting in front of the camera and talking about the subjects we want to talk about, we can really get across the point that we're trying to get across and delve in deeper. Sometimes on the screen records, we'll go into subjects, but you know, it doesn't really hit as hard as us getting in front of the camera and, you know, really getting across our passion for subjects that we talk about and, you know, really explaining it properly.
We do podcasts together. We do live webinars together every other week, but from a kind of social media standpoint, nobody has ever really seen us together to actually do content together. And that's something we really want to do. And also one of the reasons we moved to Dubai, because in the UK, we were around an hour or so away from each other. It's not convenient to get together and travel back and forth, because if I have to go to Bernie, it's an hour back and forth. And then it's vice versa with me as well. But unfortunately, we are now basically neighbours. and we see each other pretty much every single day and every single morning against my will at 6 a.m. where Bernie forces me to go on a walk as part of a new fitness journey that we started around 6 months ago.
Yeah. So basically, I'm his personal trainer. If you do follow him on IG, you would have seen the before and after photos so far. So yeah, that was all completely down to me. So yeah, what were you saying?
Well, as your PT for the past 5 years, obviously my journey only started recently because I've just been so busy training you.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I forgot that's what you were going to say.
So my fitness actually spiraled.
Okay, yeah, that's why.
Remember the script?
Yeah, sorry.
So as Bernie's personal trainer, I had this fantastic idea that we should do more than just trading content potentially as well. And it's not actually my own idea, hands up. It's actually come from a lot of you guys from our personal social medias. And because we've been showing a lot more on our Instagram of our journey, going gym together, certain routines, and showing quite interesting transformations to say the very least. And you can probably see above us or in the middle somewhere on the screen, some pretty good transformations that have taken place. And it not only contributes to trading, but it seems a lot of you guys are heavily interested in this stuff. So we're not 100% on this yet, and we want you guys to maybe leave a comment in this video, or leave a comment on this video, shall I say, to let us know if you would be interested in that stuff. Now, what we've got planned is psychology-based videos, to name one, where we're talking in the camera like this. Psychology is the core principle behind everything we teach in our app at Innovation Markets. It is the foundation behind everything in trading, no matter what people say or do. Psychology is the key role.
Yeah.
But it also technically plays a role in fitness and vice versa. Health, mentality, mindset also plays a role in trading. And we are open to the idea of potentially doing vlogs, whether that's on fitness, whether that's videos discussing our move to Dubai. A lot of you guys have seemed very interested in the move. Our thoughts on the move, maybe our journey throughout the move, because we have a lot of things planned here as well. Whether it's getting a new office, an expansion, there's so many ideas that we have.
Yeah.
And we want to start delivering that to you guys.
Yeah, like we've been on a bit of a journey, as I said, hands up. We've been a bit poor on the YouTube front and not uploading any videos recently. But we've been on a bit of a journey in the background ourselves. Sometimes we're just so busy uploading videos daily to our members in the app that sometimes when you get out of the rhythm of uploading on YouTube, you know, you just lose that consistency. Everyone, you know, gets into that point where sometimes you're not as consistent with certain things, but it's consistency and discipline and psychology is a massive part of what we're going to talk about. But we have been on a journey in the background over the last 6 months or a year. As Tori mentioned, we've both been on a fitness journey, but also the journey of moving to Dubai. So we're in a new location now. That didn't just come about overnight. So there was thought process before it happening, then the actual lead up to the move. We've been here a few weeks now, so we're settling. But as Tori said, on our social media, we've just, because we share our personal life on our social media, we've naturally just been showing some insights into that. And because we're predominantly trading based, obviously, crypto and forex, it was actually quite surprising to us how much interest we had on the other aspects that we were showing in our life, like the fitness journey, like moving to Dubai. And we've actually had a lot of direct messages and so on about why we left the UK, or how we have had our transformations with our fitness, what we eat or how we train. So if you are interested, please just leave a comment and let us know. And then that can be part of our videos in the future. But as we said, the foundation, what I believe the foundation of successful trading is psychology. And we talk about it so much, like on a daily basis, whether it's obvious talking about it, where we sit down and talk about psychology and do a podcast where we talk about mindset, discipline, confidence or anything like that, down to where I'm just indirectly talking about it on the charts. You know, we talk about it, the psychology daily, because it's the biggest part of trading. And you know, you can learn to read the charts, but controlling yourself, and anyone watching this will probably agree, controlling yourself and just mastering your psychology is the hardest part of trading. And at Innovation Markets, like, our foundation is psychology, is what we're built of. We are always aiming our videos to change people's perspective, their psychology for the better. And we have so much feedback from members that say that once they join us, you know, it just changes the way they view the market. And so what we want to do is do that for you. There's no doubt in my mind that that won't help you with your trading, and you'll come out from our videos just being better off and approaching the market better. But then, as I said, we are open to lots of different ideas. We're open to delving more into our lives, like doing maybe day in the life of a forex trader or a crypto trader, how we trade. We can do videos on that. Showing you our journey. We've got big plans for innovation markets to grow and expand. So we'd love to show you that journey as well, and just give back to you guys who have been subscribers and followers of us for a long time.
Definitely. I think, again, not an excuse, but again, kind of an excuse. One thing that's kind of deterred us from doing social media content is the cringe factor. We are not big fans, to say the least, of the content you see on social media. It's essentially the thumbnails and all the stuff you've probably heard me talk about. The kind of thumbnails that, or the, that stuff makes me sick to my core. Excuse my French.
And that's in crypto. And then
that's crypto, yeah.
In forex, I cringe out. Like, it almost stops me from wanting to post, because you guys know most people are aware of it now, but the Lamborghinis, the trading from a beach, you know, taking your phone out, pressing buy, making 100 grand in 10 seconds. It's so easy. Like, it's so saturated in this market. But, you know, it has made us almost take a step back. But I think that now it's got so bad that we almost feel like, no, we need to sort of like,
we can be the savior here, maybe.
Yeah.
When you think about when we first started trading, many years ago.
You've been trading over 10 years. I've been trading nearly 15 years, over 15 years now, because I'm a bit older than you, unfortunately. Cut that bit. So yeah, I've been trading 15 years now. So yeah, to combine, we've got like over 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And so what I think you were going to say is, when we started...
When we started, we were not exposed to the elements that we are in the modern day. Like, as an example, when I was getting started, my first forex course was on DVDs. You don't even get that.
I thought I was old.
Yeah, I know. That's my first ever forex course. I was about 15, 16 years old. There was 12 DVDs at the time that I put into my Packard Bell PC. Put that in perspective.
Wow.
And at that time, that was like revolutionary, but I was able to not necessarily pick up trading quickly. In fact, I've made every mistake in the book, and that is thrown into all of our education. We all have, and we have no shame whatsoever in admitting that, which most people won't do either. They'll make it seem like it's just wins, and we are not here to do that. For the record, everything you will be taught from us or shown in our videos comes from real experiences. The mistakes, the accidents, the stop losses, the blown accounts. We have done every single thing you can think of. But the only difference is, and what probably helped us learn, is at the time, there was no social media. No. There was no Lambos. There was no any of the stuff you see.
You couldn't type in crypto. Well, crypto wasn't even born then.
No, I was...
When we first started forex, crypto wasn't born. But you couldn't put forex into... YouTube wasn't there.
No.
Well, YouTube wasn't even a thing.
No, there was
so there was
really
no... You couldn't search forex and then see like rockets or people saying I made 100%, or they were on the 1 minute time frame making 100 to 1 RR. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't that flood of just misinformation.
Yeah.
It really affects anybody that's new coming into the market, and we talk about that heavily within our app. Again, that relates back to psychology, because if you're viewing all these things, it massively affects your subconscious and your psychology.
I think about where I used to find any form of conflicting or additional information. It was in Forex Factory forums at the time, or even just old forums. Like, one person might post like a Euro USD signal, and I'd be like, interesting, and they would post maybe a different strategy, but that's not the case anymore. And what was interesting with when I first started is a lot of people were very open with losses. So I was almost conditioned from the offset to see people blowing accounts and losing. Whereas nowadays it's like 100% hit rate, like you said, 1 to 100 RR, perfect breakout of this, that. That's not the reality. Unfortunately, the trading space is growing larger and larger by the day. But unfortunately, it's also consuming a lot of people, and a lot of newcomers are starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
And we are making this executive decision to change that from now,
Yeah.
and provide and become essentially a voice of reason for you guys. Like, if you look at crypto, recent events, and even from previous videos that we've done, we're notoriously, and we're called innovation for a reason, we are notoriously known for kind of going against the herd and not following along with the general narratives. And it's something we highlight consistently, because in this day and age, it's not just traditional textbook manipulation you would see from mainstream media, Bloomberg, the institutions, the funds, but it's now influencers, unfortunately, that dominate the space, and they can help assist in creating that massive echo chamber bubble. And we want to discuss a bit about that as well. Not too much in this video, but it will probably play a fundamental role in a lot of our content moving forward, I feel.
You know, you were talking a minute ago, just made me think about, we had a meet up here in Dubai with our members about 6 months ago. And we said at the time, like, we've been through, because of what you said a minute ago, we've been through all the ups and downs of trading. I've been trading over 15 years. So the first, you know, for me, the first 2-3 years, especially because there wasn't much to learn from at that time, it was basically just learning from your mistakes is how you enter this market and how you got through it. But we've been through every single mistake that there is to make, and we're open about that. You know, we didn't just open up a laptop and start making money in the first 2 months and then, oh yeah, we were successful from then onwards. You know, the first 2-3 years were bloody hard in forex and in crypto, but we're so relatable to our members, and we help our members so much because we've all been there. If you've been trading more than 6 months or a year and you're honest with everyone's honest, we've all, you know, lost money. We've all blown accounts at the very beginning. You all had those stressful nights. You have those ups and downs, those gut-wrenching moments, those euphoria moments where you think you've cracked it, then you lose again because you get overconfident, then you have losing streaks. All these things we've been through and we've done, you know, been there, bought the t-shirt. But that is what gives us the knowledge and to be able to educate our members to not do that. The reason we do this, and really why we started Innovation, was because we didn't want other people to go through the years of pain that we went through to get successful. Because, you know, if we can package our 10-15 years of experience and condense it down to, you know, a year or two for you, you don't have to go through all of that experience to get to where you are. It didn't take 15 years to get successful, but, you know, if we can condense the 2-3 year period down to 6 months or a year for you and stop you making all those mistakes, which, you know, to be fair, they have still to be made. But if you can highlight, but if you can highlight it and then talk about it and be honest about it and let you know that you're not alone, that this is normal, that just for having a loss, you know, there's not something wrong with you. Because go back to social media that there is today, you know, you'll have a loss, you'll lose 1%, or you'll have lose some money in crypto, or you lose a couple of trades on forex. Then you sit back, you open up your phone, look at Instagram. Oh, this person's lying on top of a Lamborghini. He just made 10 grand.
You never done that? No. Okay.
There's something like you're thinking that there's something wrong with you because you're not doing this. Or you go on Twitter or X, and everybody is winning every day. Everybody's like, I took this trade today. I made this much money. So everybody's a winner. But so where's all the losers? Because it's all a lie. It's all a fugazi, you know.
It is.
And if you think about trading, any regulated forex broker, usually at the top they have a banner that says, depending on where it is, usually between 70 to 80% of forex traders fail. But yet on Instagram, it's like 100% of retail traders are winning. And on X, 100% of retail traders are winning. So where's the losers? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And this is the subconscious and the part that is affecting your psychology and ruining anybody who's new into the forex and crypto space. But we want to just sort of step in and give a different perspective and a different light and a different view on the market. We're big believers that, you know, to be a successful trader, you have to leave your ego at the door. So you should always be willing to open your mind to learn something different, take on a new bit of education. You know, don't think that you always know, because you can always learn more. So we're here with this channel now to give you as much information as we can give. Analysis videos like we were previously, you know, breaking down crypto markets, breaking down forex markets, maybe a different couple of pairs every week or every second week. Tell us what you guys would like. But then, as I said, we're going to delve deep into the psychology factor, personal, why we're in Dubai, why we left, how it's going, how we're settling in. We'll delve into that as well. So we just want to sort of give you as much content to give you as much for you guys to take away from.
One thing I would say from the offset as well is if you're not already following Innovation Markets on Instagram, make sure you do follow us on there.
Yeah.
Because one thing we done just a couple of days ago was post a question form and just say, what are you struggling with most at the moment in trading? And we got a huge list,
There was loads of great ideas.
and we will do a video on every single topic.
But when we done that questionnaire on our page, a lot of it was down to things that were psychology related, like how to deal with greed, how to deal with losses. So it's not so much about, you know, how to learn to trade that people seem to need to know. I had a question the other day from a member, like, now that I'm a full-time trader or making money, how do I deal with that? Like just learning how to walk away from the charts or you know, not spend so much time because they've now been able to leave their full-time job. That's something that people don't talk about a lot. You know, what we do, and we've actually got a podcast in our app about this because we didn't realize it at the start, but a lot of members were saying to us, like, I've been able to leave my full-time job now, and now I work from home, but I need help with that psychology factor. So we've done a podcast on it. But again, it just shows that there's everything that people really seem to need the most help on is psychology. And that psychology umbrella, there is hundreds and hundreds of topics underneath it.
Absolutely.
And so that's why there's so much that we can talk about. I actually feel very passionate about talking about these things because if members will know, if you're watching this, when we have our podcasts, we go off on tandem sometimes and get really deep into things because
Bit like now.
sorry, but we are passionate about these things because we've been through it. So when I start talking about one of these topics, my mind goes back to when I was going through it. And then I remember how bad it was. So I get really passionate and try and get it across so that other members don't do it.
What's really good is obviously Bernie is dealing with the forex markets all day. I'm dealing with the crypto market all day. And although the core principles of the psychology is equal in both markets, they both differ as well in psychology. And, you know, we often get some crazy things that often shocks Bernie, like in our live sessions sometimes. A member will say something like, Torre, I've only got $5 million in fiat.
Crypto people are crazy.
A different breed of people. And it'll be like, bro, I've only got $5 million to buy the next round of dips. Do you think I have enough? And Bernie would just be like, you man are different.
Yeah, crypto guys are
maniacs.
different.
But I also think these videos and what is somewhat strategic in some way, shape or form is we're kind of doing this at the right time and place, I feel, because seemingly the markets are going to do some rather remarkable stuff this year. And as you've probably gathered from one of our previous videos, which we said why we believe in an alt season, which you can, if we put it here, you can click and watch, I presume, or just post it there anyway. I believe there's going to be an alt season. And from inauguration, in fact, from around 2 weeks before, we haven't really shown any of the analysis publicly, but within the app, we have absolutely nailed the top at 109K. Down to where we are at present. We gave you a few snippets on our socials, personal and IG, personal and innovation, but we haven't really shown much of it. And what ties into what we're seeing now is, again, psychology. If you go back to the inauguration period, calling a top is never easy, and I don't get them all perfect all the time, but during this particular one, it was so against the herd. You had a pro-crypto president. People kept saying the same thing, not only, you know, you're sidelined and this, that, which you won't ever get in Forex, by the way, and I'm sure you can explain that later. But you were getting many of these overwhelming bullish theories and narratives, such as strong fundamentals, which turned out to do the exact opposite. And more importantly, all of the YouTube videos, and especially if you went on X, it was all telling you one simple thing. The market's going to go higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And we stuck to our guns and said that the market would likely drop the moment Trump became president. And that's exactly what happened. But that was not what theoretically should have happened. And this is where we will be delving further as well into the ideas and concepts of how the market is quite frankly rigged. Whether you believe that or not, the market is absolutely meticulously manipulated to absolute perfection every single day, every single week, every single month.
Crypto and forex.
Both markets hand in hand. And Bernie had some great examples, to be fair, with market manipulation in its finest form.
But yeah, whether it's in our daily videos and I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame or the 15-minute time frame, and I'm telling members like, don't sell here, wait for this to happen, the manipulation, and then take the trade, or whether it's on way scaled out version on the time frame of the monthly time frame, it happens there as well. So in January, we're leading into January, we had October, November, December were massive bullish months for the dollar index. The dollar index, US dollar index, that is, broke out of the monthly range highs. And we called, before, even in December, before we got into January, we said there's going to be a massive sell-off in 2025, in January. We were telling members that 2025 is going to be one of the best years. I think 2025, 2026, the next couple of years are going to be the best times to trade. It's going to be some of the biggest moves that we'll ever see. But in 2024, in December, I said, coming into 2025, we're going to see a sell-off on the US dollar, and we're going to come all the way back down to the monthly range lows. When I say this to members, because I know there's newer members, I have to say, I know this sounds far-fetched, but it's going to happen. Older members here will know it can happen because they would have seen it happen many times before, like when we called the bottom on gold in February 2024 and October 2023. Check them out on the charts, the big bearish candles, and then they flip to the upside. We call those longs. The same thing happened in the dollar index. So we called that move to the downside, big manipulative push to the upside in October, November, December, doji candle on monthly time frame on the dollar index in January, and then bang, it's come all the way back down to where it's at the monthly lows and where we think the next big move is about to happen. So yeah, it's very manipulative.
And it's probably going to go hand in hand actually with the idea that the dollar right now is so bearish, and I believe your views are pretty much that you think it will inevitably start reversing to the upside as well.
I think we're pretty close. I think there's going to be a bit more manipulation there, which again we'll cover. But yeah, just going back to what you were saying, the markets are very manipulated, and by going against the herd, the psychology aspect, when the dollar index was pushing up in January, what we were seeing on social media was those, like on YouTube, those thumbnails, I'm not going to do it, but those thumbnails saying that
sure?
I'm sure the US dollar is going to go higher, and rockets, and it's just going to go up. Trump was coming into power, and the dollar was just, everyone, when it's bullish, everybody's bullish. When it's bearish, everyone's bearish. But we called bearish when we were at the top, and then we took a short trade on the dollar. We took long trade on EURUSD. Even in March, we had a long trade on EURUSD and a long trade on oil that together was about 28%. So there's been some nice moves in the market by going against the herd, and we're going to show you more about that, some more examples of that on the charts in the future. We'll show you some past events, but we'll show you the future events. And just as you said, I'm expecting some big moves on the dollar index. We are at the monthly lows, so you notice I mentioned the monthly highs is where the manipulation was on the dollar index, the US dollar index. We're at the monthly lows, so I think a big move's coming. Same thing with oil that I just mentioned a minute ago. We took a trade on recently. I think there's a big move coming on oil, on all the markets, because we're at a point where Bitcoin's in a critical area, the US dollar's at a critical area, oil's at a critical area, and fundamentally, the noise, which is causing the manipulation, is at a critical point as well with Trump and these tariffs, and it's all just building, and it's just almost getting ready to just explode, really, isn't it? You can just feel that the markets are just...
It's like a ticking time bomb at this point.
It just feels like it's about to just explode, and the market is just going to get even crazier. So I think that what we've seen so far this year is just a warm-up, really. Yeah. And I think that the bigger moves are set to come.
Definitely, and I think it ties into crypto quite well because, as you guys know, the alt season idea that I have comes mostly from the charts, of course, but also from what we've said in the beginning, which is the majority don't think it's going to happen anymore. And historically speaking, that is exactly when every single alt season does generally begin to at least emerge and prepare to happen. And notably from here where we are, the market hasn't really hit optimal fear yet. And with this recent recovery we've seen, I think this is perfect because it's essentially deviating the herd. And I call them the herd because most people's thoughts just several weeks ago were lower, 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 lower. Everyone's following the same echo chamber of thoughts. And this is something I want to address in future videos, where a lot of what you see from the narratives to the YouTube videos, it's not an individual thought or concept. It's an idea or thought taken from someone else on YouTube or social media, regurgitated, and it's just trickled down the food chain. And with where we are in the markets now, especially with the idea that oil could potentially absolutely blow soon, that could indicate something potentially war related. The US dollar could potentially gain strength. That will weaken crypto. We have historically seen what any concept of war or threat does to Bitcoin. So if you look at what's happening in the market right now, I think it's really simple. We've gone from peak fear several weeks ago to all of a sudden people all screaming again, the bottom's in. The market is essentially deviating people away from the fact that a new bottom could be coming. So now everyone is going to be jumping into the market again after weeks and weeks of being scared, believing the bottom is in. This actually sets a beautiful framework for some form of catalyst to come through, especially with how unpredictable Mr. President Trump has been.
Yeah, and
It's
also
perfect.
just to add, at the time of recording, you know, we're at fresh all-time highs of gold. And, you know, just going back to what I said a minute ago, if you look at the charts on October 23, we called long when there was a massive bearish couple of weeks in October, or maybe the month before, around that time, massive sell-off, and then a long trade on October 2023. Good sell-off, especially on the daily, weekly timeframes in February 2024. And then we had a long trade, and we've never revisited those prices back down at 1800s. We're now up at 3,300 almost. Those moves came from big sell-offs to the downside first, to the manipulation we talk about. And again, if you want to take time and look at those charts, just draw the range that price was trading in at the time before October 2023 and February 2024. Look at those ranges. Price sold off hard to the bottom of the range. Something came out, that was the news, and price pushed up. Okay, if the news made gold push up, fine. But why did it sell off first? Why was there a big sell-off in the days and weeks before the massive move up? Why did it break to the downside of the weekly and monthly ranges? Now gold is at all-time highs, where, you know, it's just pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. That will lead us to think something bigger is going to happen, and there can be a huge turnaround on gold fairly soon. Just like on the dollar index, monthly range, price breaks out to the top of the range and then sells off. Okay, the dollar has been selling off hard for 3 months now, very, very strong. But why did it push up first? Why did it have to go up and take out those range highs?
Good question.
Why did it have to bring in everybody to go on YouTube and scream and make thumbnails that the US dollar was only going up higher? Why did it do that? And this is where the herd, when prices took going bullish, they just jump on a trend. And when prices were selling off, like now, they jump on a trend. But then they get caught because those trends change, and they're just jumping on the bandwagon, or they're just FOMOing. They're just making content just to get views and clicks, and that's why they have those thumbnails. But just think about what I've just said now. The last 2 huge moves on gold came from price breaking the downside of ranges that the price was trading in before. The dollar index just had a massive crash. Why did it push up to the top of the monthly range first? It's all manipulated.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the purpose of the videos, and we probably won't say much more for this one because I want to save myself for all the future videos. Otherwise, we will go on for hours and hours. Trust me, we do that in our app.
We've never got in front of a camera, now we can't stop talking.
I know. It's always the way, but that's a good thing because now we know
It's all pent up.
Yeah, it actually is. But that is part of the plan. It's to essentially be the voice of reason and enable you guys to just see the markets and even life overall in an entirely different perspective. It's essentially mirroring a lot of what is taught within our app and those principles, and relaying that into individual forms of content, and also showing more of a personal side to ourselves as well.
Yeah. On that note, I think we've probably covered enough for today, but we're looking forward to getting straight into the next videos. Please leave a comment on what you would like to see more of. We're not just saying it because most videos say like and comment. We're actually saying it to comment,
subscribe.
like, comment and subscribe. But comment, please, so that we can look at the comments and we'll make the future videos.
Definitely, we'll make a massive list, and based on your feedback as well, we will start to tailor that content specifically to what you guys request, but we will also be working on that psychology series as well. So I think it goes without saying, thank you very much for sticking through to the end of the video. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we are really, really looking forward to the next ones, and hopefully you guys are too.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, guys, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.